I am Supreme, and today's Astro-Oracle investigation will be on Marilyn Renee Nicole McCown. Marilyn McCown is an Indiana woman who has been missing since July 22nd, 2001. Her disappearance remains an active cold case that has gained significant national attention through true crime media, including being the first case featured on the Crime Junkie podcast. I watched one podcast on Marilyn McCown, so I do have some information that I'll be able to identify if it comes out in the cards. Um, this case was suggested by a viewer and subscriber of mine, Recapers-J2S. I appreciate you for suggesting this reading. I appreciate all my viewers and subscribers for suggesting content. And as you see, I do add them to my itinerary. So, Marilyn McCown was last seen at the Richmond Coin Laundry in Richmond, Indiana. She was 28 years old at the time and was scheduled to be married just 3 weeks later. On the day she vanished, she told her family she was being harassed by two men at the laundromat. Surveillance footage showed her loading laundry into her 1990 GMC Jimmy and drive away, appearing calm. Her SUV was found several months later on November 3rd, 2001, at an apartment complex in Dayton, Ohio. Her laundry was still neatly folded inside, but the car's stereo and battery were missing, and the ignition had been tampered with. Now, a former co-worker and police officer, Swint, his name is Tommy Swint. Swint was long considered a person of interest. He took his own life in 2010, shortly after being indicted for the 1991 murder of another woman, Tina Mott. Police also investigated her fiance, Marilyn McCown's fiance, and an ex-boyfriend, though no charges were ever filed in connection to her disappearance. Recent developments in early 2026, which is the current time. Today is March 15th, 2026. Crime Junkie released a two-part investigative series featuring fresh reporting and previously unreleased details from police files. I'm going to have to go look at that because I have not watched that, I promise you. So, what happened to Marilyn McCown? We're going to do a high-ranking Astro-Oracle psychic investigation. Now, this investigation is going to involve what happened to Marilyn McCown and where her body is most likely located at. I had time to spend with her charts. Marilyn McCown was born January the 6th, 1973. And she disappeared July the 22nd, 2001. Now, before I pull the charts, I want to first pull two cards from three different decks. Three different Astro Oracles. Astro Oracle, what happened? That's right, I've been modifying my decks, spending time in meditation, letting my spirit team lead me and guide me to create these decks to serve the purpose of tuning into the ethers. I am a high-ranking Astro Oracle psychic. You are about to witness a high-ranking Astro Oracle psychic investigation on Marilyn McCown. If you are just joining me, welcome to my channel. I am Supreme. I am a high-ranking Astro Oracle psychic. I communicate with the living and the dead, as you will soon see. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button so you'll be notified when I drop my investigations. I will be pulling two cards from each deck. Astro Oracle what? I have Astro Oracle who and Astro Oracle why. The where and the when will come out in the charts. We want to know, me and my spirit team and all my viewers watching, we want to know what happened to Marilyn McCown. Pulling two cards from what, who, and why. The who, what, where, when, and why. Two charts, two cards from each deck. What happened to Marilyn McCown? What happened? Let's reshuffle that. What happened to Marilyn McCown? Wait, that came out. All right, now we got something violent happened in the fourth house. Domestic violence, a violent activity happened in the fourth house. We're going to look at what's going on in that fourth house. The fourth house is the house of home and family, and that came out. Organized activity in the ninth house. The ninth house is the house of travel, long distance travel. This is also the house of colleges and universities. This is also the house of churches, synagogues, and this is the international house of foreign affairs and immigration. Something organized activity is taking place in the ninth house energy. Now, organized activity, this would most likely be foreign human trafficking, but definitely long distance human trafficking. This could also be college and university human trafficking. Even churches. Being that two cards already popped out from the what, let's pull two cards from who? Who is involved? Astro Oracle who? Who is involved in the disappearance of Marilyn McCown and possible death? This happened back in 2001. It's 2026. 25 whole years later. No sign of Marilyn McCown. I'm almost certain that she's dead. She's been unalived. But let's see what comes out in the cards. Two cards. Who was involved in the disappearance and possible death of Marilyn McCown? Who is involved? Who is involved in the disappearance and possible death of Marilyn McCown, who disappeared July 22nd, 2001, who was born January the 6th, 1973? Who is involved in the disappearance and possible death of Marilyn McCown? In two cards. Cut the deck. 1, 2. We have a partner and we have a friend. This is two people. These are two people. The partner in the 8th house, which is most likely responsible for her death, because the 8th house is the house of death. Okay? Now there is a friend here. The friend is in the house of the missing and the hidden, the 12th house. It's no coincidence that the two major houses that I look at first in every chart, and y'all know it through all my investigations, if the person is missing, which we know, which is the reason why I'm doing the investigation, they're most likely more missing than they are dead. So we start off in the 12th house of every chart. That's the missing. The 8th house is the house of death. So we have a partner and a friend. Two people that are involved. The friend is involved in her disappearance. The partner is involved in her death. Now we got to find out who this partner is when we pull the charts, and it's going to come out in the 8th house. Astro Oracle, why? Why? Marilyn McCown was going to be married in 3 weeks. Why? If she was unalived, we know for sure she disappeared. But why? Why? And two cards. Why did Marilyn McCown disappear? And why was she possibly unalived? Two cards. Why? Why did that came out. Jealousy in the house of partnership. The seventh house is the house of marriage and partnership. That's Libra's house. Jealousy. That's the partner's house. The partner that's responsible for the possible death. Eighth house is the house of death. I'm almost certain Marilyn McCown has been unalived. Jealousy. She was going to be married. Could this have been her ex? We're going to pull one more card. Why? Why was Marilyn McCown unalive? Why did she disappear 3 weeks before her marriage? Why? Why? One more card. Why? Hold up. Hold up. Let's reshuffle this. Sometimes that happens. Let's reshuffle it. Let me expand my space right quick because I'm operating from a limited space. My desk is so cluttered, and that's a shame because my desk is very long, big. It's one of them long ass camp tables or recreational tables that you see in these recreational centers. I have one in my basement. It's long, and I have a long tablecloth on it, as you can see. This ain't even a tablecloth. This is fabric. But you know, I'm extremely creative. So, why? One more card. Why? 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 This is why. Another jealousy in the eighth house, which is also where the partner that unalived her is at. This was about jealousy. 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 Now let's pull these charts. Marilyn McCown was born January 6, 1973. On that day, the sun was in Capricorn and the moon was in Aquarius. Y'all know how I formulate time. Time is the sun divided by moon cycles. When you put an Aquarius moon in Capricorn's house, which is the 10th house, Taurus is rising. Taurus comes first. This is a second house chart. The second house is the house of money, material possessions, earning capacity. This is Taurus's house, the second house, which is why Taurus comes first. Now, let's pull the disappearance chart so we can compare and go over these cards. The day Marilyn McCown disappeared was July the 22nd, 2001. On that day, the sun was in Cancer and the moon was in Leo. And when you put a Leo moon in Cancer's house, which is the 4th house, guess what comes first? Taurus. The same exact chart. Marilyn McCown's birth chart and disappearance chart is the same chart. So the answer to what happened to Marilyn McCown will be found in this chart alone. Now, let's get to these cards. The partner in the 8th house. I want to start with this first. Now, if you look in the 8th house, what do you see? Sagittarius. Is this partner a Sagittarius? Could be, but not limited to. However, Sagittarius also represents foreign energy. Whoever unalived Marilyn McCown, we know for sure is a partner of hers. Okay? He was jealous. And he just may be a foreigner. I will bank on it. He is a foreigner. Whoever is in her past, that is a foreigner. Now, check this out. in Sagittarius's house, which is the ninth house. You see, the ninth house is Sagittarius's house. The ninth house, I see Capricorn. Capricorn is the energy of authority, law enforcement, the father figure. So I know now that not only is this partner of hers in her past was a foreigner, but he was also involved in some form of law enforcement. He is an authority figure of some sort. There is a ninth house card that came out. Organized activity. Of course, because if he is a part of law enforcement, he was able to organize and orchestrate the unaliving of Marilyn McCown and get away with it. Because the police knows what the police looks for. So if a police officer did it, a police officer would most likely get away with it. Because they know how to hide exactly what they know how to look for. You can't make this up. You cannot make this up. Now, let's get to this violent activity going on in the fourth house of home and family. What's going on in the fourth house? We see Leo. Of course, Leo is drama. This is a toxic situation. This is not good news. Okay? Marilyn McCown has disappeared and possibly unalive. I'm almost certain she's been unalive. So there's nothing good about this Leo energy in the fourth house. Violent, drama. Guess what? Guess where the moon was that day she disappeared? It was in Leo, right here. And this is the moon's house, the fourth house. That is the house of Cancer, and Cancer rules the moon. And guess what? The sun was in Cancer that day. Where was Cancer at? Right here in the third house of the local environment and communications. There was a phone call made because third house represents interaction and phone calls. Who was this phone call made to? Her mother. Look, the mother. Cancer is home, family, and the mother. If it wasn't the mother, then there was a phone call made to her family members. Now, when I read the timeline, it said that she called her mother, if I'm not mistaken. On the day she vanished, she told her family she was being harassed by two men. There goes the phone call right there to her family. She told her family she was being harassed by two men. Guess who these two men were? The partner and the friend. The friend is the hidden one, which is responsible for her disappearance. She may have been abducted. She may have been what word am I looking for? Carjacked. Thank you, Spirit. I don't know how I forgot the word carjacked. She may have been carjacked. Let's look at this friend that's hiding in the 12th house, responsible for her disappearance. In the 12th house, you see Aries. Hold on, I feel like I'm about to. Excuse me, I don't normally drink during my videos, but I'm human, so fuck it. So look, the friend hiding in the 12th house. Look at that. Aries energy. Now, this friend could be an Aries. However, this friend, okay, in the 12th house is somebody that Marilyn knows. Okay? Now, Aries rules the first house. Aries rules the first house where Taurus is. But Aries energy is hiding in the 12th house. Mars rules Aries. The fact that Taurus is in Aries' house lets us know that this was about money. This was about money. This was about money. Taurus rules money, security, earning capacity. It rules the second house. And this is a second house chart. In the actual second house, which most likely we call the second room, because the whole chart is the second house, like the second house on the block in the cosmos. Now, the actual second section would be the second bedroom. All of these are 12 room houses. Let's say this is a 12-room house. We're dealing with the second house on the block in the second room. You will see Gemini. Gemini represents the travel that she did from Indiana to Ohio, because she was last seen at a Richmond Coin Laundry in Richmond, but her car was found in Ohio. So she traveled. That's Gemini energy. And she contacted her family because this is Gemini's house. She contacted her family to let them know two men were harassing her. Now let's follow Mars to elaborate on this friend. Because Mars rules Aries. Mars is the assassin. Mars that day, as well as the day she was born, is in Sagittarius. You can't make that up. Look at Mars in the chart. Mars is in Sagittarius the day she was born and the day she disappeared, which is also the day she was unalived. Yes, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. She was unalive. Marilyn McCown is no longer with us. That is my story and I'm sticking to it. Now let's find out how this happened. Sagittarius, the assassin. Both dots of the assassin lead to the house of death, which is where the partner is. The friend, I feel like abducted Marilyn and drove her to where the partner was, because her vehicle was found at the apartment complex of one of her old partners. You can't make this up. Jealousy. Jealousy came out in the house of partnership. Let's look at what's going on in the seventh house. The seventh house of marriage, you see Scorpio. Scorpio rules the eighth house where she died. Scorpio energy rules death, but it also rules sex. There was some sexual assault involved. Now, Pluto rules Scorpio. Pluto is the planet of death and transition. Guess where Pluto was the day Marilyn disappeared? Look all the way at the bottom. You'll see it right there in Sagittarius, in the house of death. You cannot make this up. Energy does not lie. It will always tell the story. Her partner unalived her due to jealousy. She was going to be married in 3 weeks, not to the person who unalived her, but to someone else who who the partner was jealous of. But they all know each other. The same partner that unalived her, right here. This is the same person. The seventh and the eighth house. Scorpio is right here in the seventh house. And Scorpio's house is the eighth house where Sagittarius is, which is also the friend and the partner were both jealous of her. Jealousy. Jealousy. This was about money too. This violent activity, yeah, this was a domestic dispute. Domestic violence. Domestic violence. Where is the body of Marilyn McCown? This is going to take us out right here. Where's the body of Marilyn McCown? Marilyn McCown, where is your body? Where is the body of Marilyn McCown? Where is the body of Marilyn McCown. Now, Jupiter rules Sagittarius. And being that Sagittarius is in the house of death, both in Marilyn McCown's birth and disappearance, let's follow Jupiter right quick. Jupiter that day was in Cancer, right here in the local environment. The person who was harassing her, that she made a phone call to her family about, was the same person in Cancer's house. The violent activity took place. The violent activity took place. You want to know what I think happened? He did carjack her, but I believe he killed her right there in Indiana. Right there in Richmond, Indiana, and drove her vehicle all the way to where he lived at. Out there, and I think it was a setup. I think the friend that killed her plotted. He carjacked her and then killed her in his home, or in a home, or in a place, abandoned building or something, and drove the car all the way to where her ex-boyfriend lived to try to plant her car there, to try to throw the friend off and make it seem like it was her ex-lover. That's what I believe happened. But they all know each other. They all know each other. Marilyn knows the friend that abducted her, and she knows the ex-boyfriend. And I believe they was working together. The friend and her ex-boyfriend was working together. But see, her ex-boyfriend, who also murdered another woman, he committed suicide when law enforcement was getting closer to him. He committed suicide just when they was about to close in on him being the suspect and arresting him. He committed suicide. I believe that's the one who has a lot to do with it. They both, but the friend is still loose. And the friend knows what happened. And I believe this is a friend that Marilyn used to work with. And he is part of law enforcement. Because all the dots lead to the friend being a part of law enforcement. Somebody she used to work with. Because look in the house of work, which is the 6th house. You'll see Libra, the partner. Libra is a significant other. It rules the 7th house where this jealousy came out at. Where's the body of Marilyn McCown? Where's the body of Marilyn McCown? Where is the body of Marilyn McCown? Where is the body of Marilyn McCown? This is where her body at. In a remote area north. This could be north of Richmond, Richmond, Indiana, or it could also be north of where they found her vehicle at. I believe this is north of Richmond. I believe her body is not in Richmond, and it's not in Oregon. Dayton, Ohio. I'm sorry, or not Oregon. Dayton, Ohio. I don't believe her body is in Dayton, Ohio or Richmond. Her body is somewhere north of Richmond. It's just that the vehicle was planted in Dayton, Ohio. That would make the police and law enforcement, by the time they found it, because who's going to think to look in Dayton, Ohio for a person that's from Indiana? So it took them some time. Her body is in a remote area north of Richmond, Indiana. That is my reading on Marilyn McCown. And I'm sticking to it. I'm sticking to it. I am definitely sticking to it. This was about money as well. And it was organized by this law enforcement that knew something about money. that had to do with Marilyn McCown. Something about some funds. In the ninth house where Capricorn is, this is the law enforcement. That's from the college or from where she works at. Okay? This is also the foreigner. Saturn rules Capricorn. Saturn that day was in Gemini. And Saturn was also in Gemini the day Marilyn was born. Do you see the synchronicity? Gemini is right here in the second house. Travel for money. And this is a second house chart. Travel for money. Yes, her body is north. They unalived her. And her body is north. It's in a wooded area, a remote area. Because Sagittarius also represents the woods when it comes to places. That is my story and my reading on Marilyn McCown, and I'm sticking to it.